Watch everybody. So here is another experiment that I'd like to conduct, which is just going through recent, 17 days ago I posted on Reddit, and I saw a YouTuber the other day going through the responses of their Reddit posts, and it was quite inspiring. And I thought I'd do something similar because while I've been on Reddit for a long time, and can you believe on Twitter for 14 years apparently, I haven't posted that much until quite recently. And this was, like I said, 17 days ago I made the post, which got quite a lot of attention. I think it was just timed well. There was a lot of hoo-ha going on in the XRP community around this buyback committee and the nonsense associated with it. So I thought, let's just go through this post because got decent amount of attraction here, and as an experiment, let's see if this is, because there's plenty of more posts that I've put on Reddit which have done pretty well, and I'll see what happens if we just read this out. Maybe it gets people engaged from YouTube, from another channel, another social media channel on these topics. So let's give this a go. Recent XRP price predictions are utter trash to the point that one has to ask why. We've had the not so confidential committee on XRP, also known as the XRP buyback committee, pronounce a ridiculous price of 122 to 123,000 USD per XRP, and another price estimate as high as £1,700 obtained by applying the current price of XRP on chain transaction fees, like calculating a ratio of that, and then just changing one of the numbers in the ratio. Now that wasn't the price back committee, that was just a chap on TikTok, and I don't know if he was serious. To be honest, I don't think he was being serious. But so we, in a very short period of time, we had these two ridiculous price predictions for XRP. These supercharged price predictions do not come with any kind of timeline. They are simple enough for anyone to calculate, i.e. all the money on the planet, $5 quadrillion divided by 100 billion XRP, which is the total circulating supply. And beyond the stupidity of such estimates, we have to ask who is promulgating them and why. I just think this obviously isn't a serious effort. Anyone who tries to pretend that it's a serious effort to a price prediction, I think you immediately have to discount that and then ask why are they doing it. And I think the intentions, well, for those of us who have been monitoring what's happened with the buyback committee, I think it's fair to say that they've walked back a lot of what they were saying. There's been a few videos out, and some of the influencers that they recruited to the cause have distanced themselves from it, not particularly very well, if I'm honest. And I've got a sneak suspicion they'll come back in a new form quite soon. But Val Hill Capital and Jimmy Valley took a lot of what they said back, or if you wanted to be really forgiving to these guys and steelman their argument, you can say that the draft that was leaked because there was no non-disclosure agreement, which for a seasoned mergers and acquisition lawyer such as Jimmy seems incredibly crazy not to have a non-disclosure agreement. But the draft buyback proposal, which was leaked on XRP chat, arguably wasn't leaked, it was just made public because there was no NDA. You could say that that was a draft, and yes, it wasn't going to cover in the detail that was necessary what the safeguards would be for those individuals that participated in the proposal. If you want to steelman the argument, you can say that. I think that's fair enough. But again, there's so many odd things with this buyback proposal that I think the intentions weren't really that great from the beginning. I'd err more towards scam than incompetence. But you might want to. I think is it Hallen's principle? Don't attribute to malice that which can be attributed to incompetence. So maybe if you wanted to steelman Jimmy Valhill and and the buyback committee's arguments you can attribute. Is it Hallen's principle? Hallen's razor. Is it Hallen's razor? Let's have a look. Yeah, it is Hallen's razor. Never attribute to malice that which is adequately explained by stupidity or incompetence. Okay, so let's see what the response from the community was, which was, we've got 50,000 total views on this thing. Not too bad. Good ratio of upvotes, up ratings, 86%. So what do we have? The value or true value per coin wouldn't be known until CBDCs are implemented more and more in the new system. And this is by Joseph Scott. It's interesting. Ripple make clear on their website that the implementation of CBDCs is part of their business case. And I have been asking, there are other Reddit posts that I made where I try and model the impact of different features and capabilities or industry movement that could impact the price of XRP. So Joseph, fair enough. Yeah, CBDCs, you're saying is going to be one of the biggest contributors to the XRP price, if I read that correctly. I'm not going to argue, I don't know. And I think that is certainly one of the elements that could contribute to the price. Throwaway chaos 6,666. Let's say it goes to 589. Most people would have sold their coins far before this point anyway. Correct. Yeah, damn. If you manage to hold on to your XRP past the all-time high and then past anything above like $10, well done. You'd have already held for over about a decade. So in some instances, most of us have held for several years now, at least since the case, right, in the SEC Ripple case. But I say most of us. I would imagine the larger bag holders. But yeah, I don't think most people are going to not realize the full price value for sure. But if they sold, then someone bought, so that doesn't make sense. If most sell, then most will buy. Well, yeah, but they would have bought at a higher price, so they're not going to realize the gains either. El Thespian, in this scenario, the buyers could end up being large institutions, banks, etc., as XRP is efficient, supports ISO 2022 messaging, and is capable of other features. It might be adopted by many. Yeah, agreed. Ripple is trying to gain adoption for its cross-border payments use case. There are other use cases for XRP as described in the amici briefs for the SEC case, for example. Yeah, that's very true. There are many, and there's a great poster actually which had lots of different use cases for cryptos in general. Anyone that tells you crypto doesn't have utility, well, is demonstrably wrong, in my opinion. This is what makes the lawsuit so interesting. In my opinion, Ripple did package XRP as a security initially, and certain claims by the SEC are probably valid. If my understanding is correct, and I welcome more informed people to correct my thinking, the SEC is contending that subsequent market utility comes from the efforts of Ripple and are thus security transactions. Personally, I don't think this is true. I'm thinking about the amici brief depicting airline tickets being bought and sold using XRP. Yeah, that's for those private jets, the clearing of private jets. Who would have thought that market's large enough? But yeah, certainly a demonstrable case of utility not based on the efforts of Ripple. It seems clear that there's an independent secondary market. Agreed, yeah. The question is, again, in my opinion, where do you draw the line? And what authority does the court have to draw that line? E.g., is it fair to have Ripple pay a fine for initial sales and burn the escrow and then allow the XRPL ecosystem to exist such that Ripple doesn't benefit from the initial sales? I would just add, despite the best efforts of the SEC or the US, XRP and XRPL Ripple will always exist, It's got nothing to do with the SEC or the United States government attempt to try and destroy it, unless they actually try to destroy it. The SEC can't do anything to stop a decentralized network like the XRPL from existing. So yeah, you could limit the access to US citizens to this capability, but it's not a case of allowing the XRPL to exist. It will exist irrespective of your willingness to accept its existence or not. I'm that scenario. What about existing XRP holders? Can they continue to hold on to and sell what is being deemed as a security? Yeah, of course they can. Even in the US, you can through a decentralized exchange, you'll be able to sell it. You can't stop it. So yeah, a lot of conjecture and speculation on my part. Even in asking these questions, in my opinion, I would love it if a securities lawyer would chime in. So fair enough, El Thespian. I might have been a bit harsh on you in my comments. I mean, I responded with most of the lawyers in the community have totally demolished the SEC's claim that that XRP in and of itself is a security. There is no investment contract and no common enterprise. There is no reasonable expectation of profits from Ripple the company. While I agree that very early sales of XRP by Ripple to US institutions may constitute sales of securities, the SEC is contending that XRP itself is a security and hence will, in my humble opinion, either settle or lose the case. W1YY, the SEC is trying to delay XRP adoption in the US to enable banks and central banks to mature their own ideas. Yeah, that's a common conspiracy theory, and I think I don't want to demean it by saying it's a conspiracy theory. It's a reasonable, it's what you would do as an incumbent. You know, you would be remiss if you didn't try. If you had the ability to direct, I know it's unethical, but I mean, corporations are amoral. They don't have ethics. They can pretend to, but they don't. They're just groups of individuals that generally leave their morality and ethical compass at the door when they join the company in decision-making managerial levels. So yeah, El Thespian, here's the problem with that. Most of the lawyers in the community are in the community, and as I think most objective people will agree, the community is one big echo chamber chanting the SEC is evil regardless of what the SEC says or does. That's why I'd like to hear from independent securities lawyers. Respectfully, your comment itself is an example of ignorance in the community. And I'll admit my own ignorance, in fairness to you. Specifically, you state there is no investment contract, no common enterprise. And then you chant, while I agree that that very early sales of XRP may constitute sales of a security. This is an indication of an investment contract and common enterprise. See the contradiction in your statement. I'm not calling this out to be a jerk. I'm just trying to say that we aren't security lawyers. In my opinion, most lawyers in the community are war profiteers. And again, El Thespian, I may have been too harsh on you by knocking you down. Please don't take that too harshly. I actually really appreciate your engagement on this thread and your comments, but let me read out what my response to that was. Well, I reject your position for the following reasons. The lawyers were attracted to the case and then became part of the community. I think that's fair for Hogan and Deaton. Deaton may have been holding Ethereum before he held XRP. I don't know, that's a question for him. But I'm pretty sure a lot of the lawyers came into this because it was quite interesting. But I may be wrong. I still think it doesn't matter. In any case, an advocate is precisely that in English common law, which is an adversarial as opposed to European inquisitorial law. So I'm saying it's fine to be an advocate. It's fine. This is what the whole English common law system is about. We're not looking for objective kind of individuals. At least the judge should be objective, yeah, but the advocates are precisely that. They should either be for or against. I wouldn't want to hire someone as a lawyer to give me an opinion on something under English common law, being objective about it if I'm in a case against someone. I could imagine getting a legal opinion on a matter is different. Yeah, that would be objective. But here, the case has already started. I think you need to find advocates, and as I say here, the whole point is not to be impartial for the advocates, but to blow holes into your opponent's arguments. Anyone that chooses to opine on the statements made by the other side is taking sides. By one or other side is taking sides, yeah? You seem to be making appeals to authority, like when you say, I would love to hear the opinion of a lawyer that isn't part of the community. Yeah, that's an appeal to authority, which I just reject. I don't accept those kinds of appeals. Yes, we are not securities lawyers, and nor are the majority of security lawyers crypto experts. Appeals to authority to silence rational discourse are typically not welcome under English common law traditions. I mean, you can argue or disagree with me, that's fine. And I think fair play to El Thespian, again, he does pick up on something that I missed, yeah? On second thought, I won't let you off the hook. You stated there is no investment contract, no common enterprise. And you chant, I do like my chanting, El Thespian. You chant, while I agree, that very early sales of XRP by Ripple may constitute sales of security, which is an indication of an investment contract and common enterprise. See the contradiction in your statements. How do you reconcile this without admitting that you don't know what you're talking about? This is why I'd rather listen to a securities lawyer than deal with an echo chamber that won't admit when it's wrong. I say good afternoon to you, sir. Well, fair play. I mean, again, maybe I've overly harshly judged you by knocking you down a point on there. But my response is quite simple. The SEC contend that XRP is the security, not just the sales, or not only the sales of XRP. This is to contend that oranges are securities. The fact that the SEC are little more than captured bureaucrats, they are common criminals to appeal to authority, is to show your hand. To appeal to their authority is to show your hand. I may have been a bit too harsh, El Thespian. Look, the early sales of XRP may, by Ripple, a lot of us say this in the community, we're open to this, may have constituted sales of securities because the way they packaged the XRP oranges and sold them, it may have. I don't know. But that's not what the SEC is contending. Yeah, the SEC is contending that XRP is a security, and we completely reject that argument out of hand. It's clearly XRP is not a security. There is no contradiction there. I don't see a contradiction. I'm happy if the SEC said that Ripple had, in its early days, packaged up XRP in a certain way that broke securities laws. I think that would be quite clear. But it didn't say that. It said that XRP is a security, and it went for XRP. It went for the juggler. So, yep. Puzzled gift. There's no buyback. I don't totally agree with you. In fact, I'm going to give you an award at the same time. There will be no buyback despite anyone's bloody efforts. The whole thing is a joke.